So what's really going on with this shutdown? Many of us hope it will bring us into Nasara or Gazara and mass arrests. But Red October has passed again, and we are beginning to see some essential services like airlines shutting down. But are we really moving into the 10 days of darkness now, or are we still breaking down control mechanisms? I'm beginning to think it's the latter, and here's why. Follow along with me. President Trump posted the following on his Truth Social on Sunday, November 8th. I am recommending to Senate Republicans that the hundreds of billions of dollars currently being sent to money-sucking insurance companies in order to save the bad health care provided by Obamacare be sent directly to the people so they can purchase their own, much better, health care and have money left over. In other words, take money from the big bad insurance companies, give it to the people and terminate, per dollar spent, the worst health care anywhere in the world, Obamacare. Unrelated, we must still terminate the filibuster. So far, we've heard that this shutdown is about illegals getting free health care, then we heard it's about Obamacare, and now we are hearing the narrative about insurance companies. Everyone hates Big Pharma and wants to ditch Big Pharma. And when I hear this, I know that the person doesn't understand what's really going on. We are living in a matrix within a matrix. Big Pharma is the tip of the iceberg. It's just one component of the medical industrial complex. It's not just hospitals and pharmaceuticals. It's a multi-layered matrix of interlocking industries, financial interests, regulatory bodies, and educational institutions that collectively enslave us to the medical system. There are 5 core pillars of the medical industrial complex, and they include Big Pharma, the medical device and technology industry, hospitals and healthcare establishments, health insurers, managed healthcare, and government regulatory agencies. Each one of these categories include multiple categories under their umbrella. For instance, the medical device and technology sector is much more important than you might think. It encompasses diagnostic equipment like MRIs and ultrasounds. It also includes surgical instruments, prosthetics and implantables, as well as wearable health devices and AI and robotic surgery devices. Hospitals and healthcare systems includes corporate hospital chains and private equity-owned networks, nonprofit systems, which often function as major corporations and specialty centers for oncology, cardiology, dialysis, etc. Governmental and regulatory agencies include FDA, the CDC, NIH, HHS, CMS, WHO, and other international health organizations. Then there's numerous state licensing boards and country public health departments. So to be clear, when one of these industries falls, they all fall. This is just one element of the matrix, the medical industrial matrix. But those are just the core pillars. There are also 5 dependent systems with multiple industries within them. There's the knowledge and training pipeline, which includes medical education and academia, such as medical schools, residency programs, and continuing education. Then there's textbook publishers and standardized testing bodies, such as the MCAT and LSAT. This pipeline includes research institutions with grant dependence on pharma or NIH funding, scientific journals, medical publishing, and journal conglomerates such as Wiley. Peer review networks are often funded by or receive advertising from Big Pharma. Ghostwriters write clinical trial reports by marketing contractors. Then there's all the professional associations and lobbying arms such as the AMA, AHA, APA, ADA, etc. There's specialty boards and certification organizations, industry lobbyists, and political action committees or PACs. The next income or potential fraud pipeline includes various financial and market forces that rely on you being sick. They include Wall Street and institutional investors, hedge funds and pension funds investing in hospital systems and pharma stocks. There's venture capital in biotech startups and health tech apps. Stock price incentives are tied to quarterly drug launches. Private equity and healthcare consolidation. Private equity firms own hospitals, nursing homes, and physician practices. There's advertising, PR, and media, direct-to-consumer pharmaceutical marketing, sponsored health news content, and controlled social media influencer partnerships and disease awareness campaigns. Next is the operational infrastructure of the medical industrial matrix, and it includes pharmacy distribution networks, including major wholesalers like McKesson and Cardinal Health, retail pharmacy chains like CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart. Today, we also have huge mail-order and specialty pharmacies. Also included in the operational infrastructure are billing, coding, and data analytics that are done to maximize profit. Electronic medical record vendors who sell the record-keeping software to hospitals and medical establishments. There's medical billing and coding service companies. Data brokers selling de-identified patient information. There's clinical research and contract organizations that run clinical trials, and this requires site management organizations and patient recruitment networks and institutional review boards tied to corporate sponsors. Are you beginning to understand the intricacy of dismantling this one matrix? But that's not all. Then there's peripheral and dependent industries like legal and compliance firms that specialize in healthcare law, malpractice defense and prosecution, patent protection, FDA compliance, and risk management consulting. There's medical supply chain and manufacturing of personal protection equipment, gloves, syringes, IV fluids, and lab reagents. There's manufacturers of hospital furniture and facility management contractors, health IT, AI and data surveillance, cloud storage of health records, predictive analytics for insurance risk scoring, health apps integrated with pharma or insurer ecosystems. There's also brainwashing designed and executed by media, education, and cultural reinforcement programs, television dramas and documentaries that normalize hospital culture. There's medical awards, conferences, and sponsored foundations. Philanthropic arms also shape public perception to convince you that they have your best interest in mind. Lastly, there's feedback loops and dependency cycles. There's the education industry loop where medical students are trained within a pharmaceutically influenced system. There's the regulatory corporate loop where regulators often rotate into industry leadership and vice versa. Basically, there's a revolving door where the same experts move between industry and government. There's the insurance provider loop where insurers dictate treatment options via reimbursement codes. If the insurance company denies payment, you don't receive treatment. This used to be considered as insurance providers practicing medicine without a license by dictating treatment, and I've fought with many physicians over this point many times. Let me explain, in case it ever affects you. You should know who's liable when the insurance company refuses to pay for your treatment and you suffer damages. It's the doctor who remains personally liable for their clinical decisions and actions, even when your insurance company refuses to pay. The docs are often in a very difficult position by not prescribing needed care because they won't be paid. So the insurance companies may control what treatments are paid for, but it's the doctor who controls what is recommended, documented, and performed. From a liability standpoint, the doctor must prescribe or perform the treatment and then sue you for the money if he doesn't get paid. So if your insurance company refuses to pay, let your doctor know that he or she is the one who's liable and the one that you will be suing if their refusal to provide services harms you. Tell them that they are bound to give you effective treatment and to let you worry about the payment. With today's managed care, hospitals kick patients out way too soon because the insurance company won't pay and if you suffer because you were discharged too soon, the doc is responsible, not the insurance company. Insurance companies aren't exempt from medical liability if their refusal to pay for treatment causes harm, but their liability depends on proving that the denial was unjustified and that policy terms don't limit their exposure. Patients can sue for breach of contract, negligence, or bad faith. Success in suing the insurance companies varies by jurisdictions since the entire judicial system is politicized. The last loop is the media consumer loop, where drug ads create demand for the particular treatments being marketed. I hope that this has brought an understanding of what we are fighting, guys. I laugh when I hear people bad-mouthing Trump because he hasn't fixed this monster that preys on every one of us. It should also help you understand why so many politicians are pulling at your heartstrings with the poor people who can't afford health care. When medical care is given freely to large populations without accountability or contribution, it expands the dependence on the medical industrial system instead of reducing disease or encouraging prevention. Free or subsidized care, especially for illegal aliens, funnels billions in government reimbursements into hospitals, insurers, and pharmaceutical companies. These payments sustain a constant flow of patients, prescriptions, and procedures, reinforcing the system's financial and political power. I can tell you that a close friend manages numerous healthcare clinics that serve migrant populations. She told me that she actually sets up health fairs to let these people know that they can use walk-in clinics instead of a hospital because they all just go to the hospital. When people repeatedly use emergency rooms or services without engaging in healthier lifestyles, the focus shifts from healing and prevention to managing chronic dependency. This cycle keeps both patients and providers trapped in the high-cost, reactive model rather than a self-sustaining, preventive one. Ultimately, it strengthens the matrix by ensuring that more people remain tied to its structure, sick enough to need it, yet powerless to step outside of it. That's why Democrats are so adamant about continuing Obamacare. They are building the medical industrial matrix bigger, like a spider spinning a web. Dismantling the matrix and our dependency on it has to be done very carefully. There's gonna have to be additional jobs established waiting to hire everyone who was employed by this matrix. Yes, some will survive, but to dismantle it will require massive reduction in demand for services. Where are we now? I'm seeing people getting off or drastically reducing drugs, but I hope that you can see that's like a grain of sand on a beach for this matrix. It's going to take a mass awakening and a reprogramming to accept responsibility for the decisions we make. So Trump now stating that the shutdown is over the blood-sucking insurance companies is accurate. So is the argument that it's shut down over healthcare to illegals and that it's shut down over Obamacare. All of these are correct, and it appears that he is slowly unraveling this for people to see. From what I'm seeing, I believe that the reason the government is shut down is because Trump is trying to dismantle the medical industrial matrix, and the deep state is fighting it. This is immense, guys. I know you are tired, but just try to understand the numerous bastions that must be destroyed and how it can affect many of us if this operation isn't executed carefully, whether it's the demise of our employer or our retirement accounts that are invested in healthcare. Remember, guys, that true mastery defeats power through intelligence and strategy, not brute force. So let the Alliance do their job, and we will all come out of this free from the matrix designed to feed off of our illness.